Hello, everyone. This is Brett Kemp here inside the Space Between. I just wanted to do a little talk back session today. Also going to recite a poem. I haven't been able to get out a video this week because I am prepping for a pretty big project that's going to include a lot of new things, new ideas, and it's just taking a lot of time to put it all together. So this is just going to be kind of a simple, like I said, talk back, and I'm going to also recite a poem. Maybe we'll do some affirmations. I'm not exactly sure right now. But if you haven't had a chance, please like and subscribe. You also hit the little bell picture, so every time I put out a new video, you'll be notified. And if you haven't had a chance, please check out my other videos that I've posted in the past couple months, and you'll get to see a fun journey of everything that I've done, everything that I'm working towards to create something really authentic and original for myself. So yeah, I'm just going to read you guys a poem today that I wrote, that I was inspired to write the other day when I was working, and it kind of made me realize that I needed to remember these things when I was working. So here we go. It's so challenging to look past the circumstances in our lives. Countless obligations, bill after bill, and feeling like there is never enough time. The environment we find ourselves in becomes the only one we can identify with. Everything around us we think and believe defines who we are. Our home, our jobs, our friends, our families, our clothes, our cars. It seems like there's no escaping the life we have created, no matter how hard we push and pull, work, or toil to change it. But do you know what our mistake is? Thinking anything external can or will ever allow it to look any different. For the way you see yourself and the world won't change just because now your PJs cost an arm and a leg. While sitting in a beautifully decorated home, sipping expensive coffee, looking out your window at a magnificent lake. You will be the same as you were before success came knocking at your door, haunted by your reflection with your head in your hands looking down at the floor. And the only way to break the bond of believing your identity is stitched to you externally is to become anonymous in your life by not being defined by anything other than your heart, soul, and mind, the most beautiful treasures we can seek, as vast and as deep as the ocean sea. And the reason why I write these words is to remind myself of the undeniable truth. For too many nights, I have looked out at my life with so much to prove, convincing myself that success, fame, and fortune contain the sweetest fruits, losing sight of who I am and what I believe for an imagined hollow and empty identity, consisting of monogrammed towels and clothes saying, "Look at me, world, I am somebody." Attaching our sense of self-worth to a world that rots and disappears like fading impressions made from silly putty. Reading that poem doesn't just remind us of the fact that we should be seeking out things other than external rewards like money and success and fame and things that are only found outside of us seeking those fruits. This poem definitely is a reminder for those times when we think that way and when we're focusing on the external. But it's also a poem that's talking about this other idea, which is to think, behave, act greater than our environment, just like great men and women did in history, like Martin Luther King. He refused to live in the world that they told him to live in, which was to not be a free man. So he went out every day into that world and pretended before it caught up with his incredible spirit and mind and soul. And he went out into the world and pretended like he was a free man. And eventually the world and the universe has no choice, because of the way energy works, for it to kind of curve and bend to his desires. I had a dream. And that's why this poem is so important, because it also is supposed to remind us to think and act and behave greater than our environment. So we can, one, not be a slave to our current circumstances, but so we can also realize that with the power of our imagination, we can be in any situation and go out into the world with a filter and lens that the world is already responding to that imagined idea we have of ourselves. As Joe Dispenza says, the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. Everything is a state of being. So hopefully that poem can remind you guys of both of those ideas, thinking greater than your environment and not seeking external rewards. And so to go along with this, I think we'll do a couple affirmations today that I think fit really well with this poem and this idea of being greater than being greater than our environment and thinking greater than our environment, which I would like to do a couple, and we'll say them 3 times like we normally do, and then we'll move on to the next one, okay? So, as always, get nice and comfortable, and we're going to take a big, inhale and exhale. Inhale through your nose and out through your mouth. I personally like to close my eyes. That's up to you. Let's do another one. And repeat after me. I am so grateful for everything I have and everything that's coming to me. I am so grateful for everything I have and everything that's coming to me. I am so grateful for everything I have and everything that's coming to me. I am able to think, act, and behave greater than my environment. I am able to think, act, and behave greater than my environment. I am able to think, act, behave greater than my environment. I am incredibly intelligent. I am incredibly intelligent. I am incredibly intelligent. I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. That one I think is a great one to end on, because I am enough as I am also is kind of another way of saying that what you have around you, what you have at your fingertips with your imagination and your creativity is enough as well to do anything you want. I always thought that was so great in the Hustle and Flow movie with Terrence Howard, where, look at that keyboard. It's basically a toy, and it's there's so many limits. But in those limits, he had to create something incredible that people would respond to. So those limits are actually a good thing. And when you're saying I'm enough as I am also means you might not have the money to go buy things you need to do whatever it is you want to do, but use what you have around you, use the resources and use your imagination. And I promise you can figure it out. Look at me. I'm in this apartment in Burbank, California. That's my green screen up there that looks like, to me, which is fun, especially from an imagination standpoint. To me, it looks like a sail that's been rolled up. And I love that, because that's the way I look at our imagination too. We're sailing off somewhere into the space and stars, or a spaceship, if you want to look at it from a more futuristic standpoint. But I thought that was a great one to end on, because, like I said, we don't realize that not only are we enough, but what we have around us is enough, and we can find a way to do it. Now, I'm not going to say for some people, depending on where their souls entered their body and where they live in the world and their circumstances, it's going to be much, much more challenging for some versus others. But still, I think it's an important thing to remember. So that's pretty much it today, you guys. Like I said, this was more kind of a talk back. I just wanted to share a poem that I wrote, did some affirmations. So hopefully the poem and the affirmations created some value in your life today. They created value in mine, and talking to you guys and feeling you on the other end, even though right now you're not there. I can still feel that energy that is existing as a possibility that will be there when you do watch it. When the moment you click on this video, we are connected, even if it's hard for our mind to wrap around that idea. So thank you so much for your time, you guys. Thank you to everyone who has decided to join me on this journey inside the space between. And for anybody who's considering, I promise you it will be a really incredible journey. This next episode that I'm working on creating, that has so many layers to it, is going to be, I believe, the most magical and most imaginative and fun episode that I think I've created to date. No pressure, but I really believe that. So please tune into that. That hopefully will be happening in the next week or two. I have to get some things that might take a while to get here to do it. So it's hard to say, but I'm working towards it every day. So for those of you that are going to join me, continue to join me on this journey, it's going to be a really exciting new episode, a new adventure, a new journey that I'm going to be taking with this new episode. So, all right, you guys, I think that's it. I hope you're all having a beautiful day, night, whatever time it is. I hope your life is filled with happiness. I hope you're healthy, and I hope that you are inspired every day to create for just that reason alone, nothing else. Write, draw, sculpt, compose, build, whatever it is. I hope you are compelled to do it regardless of any external rewards other than the incredible internal rewards that will come from creating anything, the feeling you get. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for your time. And please, if you didn't, like and subscribe, and also hit that bell so every time I have a new video, you will be notified. All right, you guys, that's it. Thanks so much for stopping by Inside the Space Between. Again, I'm Brett Kemp. Have a great rest of your day. Peace and love. Bye.